Hello, folks. Welcome to the Scumdogs Kennel. I'm your host, Chris Williams, and I have another great show planned for us. But while we wait for people to gather in the chat, let me go off and show off some. Well, let me go off and show some artwork off for my own upcoming graphic novel, Scumdogs. Okay. Hmm. Just a moment, folks. There. Let me go to share screen, and here we go. We're going to be looking at supernatural stories tonight, okay, and having some fun. Just looking at some more of them. But here's my cover for my own upcoming graphic novel, Scumdogs. It's a parody book. I parody cartoons from, well, anytime I wish. You know, the cartoons we grew up with when we were kids, and cartoons we continue to love even today. That's if you don't like them or not. It doesn't matter. If you read my book, you'll have a fun time anyway. See, the Scumdogs themselves, the book is about a bunch of former pro athletes who used to compete in superhuman sporting events called the Scumdog Sports. It's sporting events held with superhuman monsters as the players. They play various kinds of athletics and sports like football and baseball, but have superhuman abilities by transforming themselves into monsters. That's a parody book. See, what happens is that they transform themselves either through magic or through some other means, maybe through cybernetics or such things, and turn themselves into superhumanly powerful monsters. It's why they're called scumdogs. They're scum and dogs for trading in their humanity for money. You know, they become pro athletes for fame and fortune. They become superhumanly powerful and stuff like that. So they're not exactly the nicest guys around because they're no longer human. But what happens when they get banned from sports? Well, the scumdogs decide to take over the world. You get the idea. And they fight their arch enemies in the Space Forces. Now, here on my cover here, we have the two main characters, Death Mug and Buick Starpoon. Death Mug is the purple guy with the metal mask here. He was fighting his arch enemy, Buick Starpoon. Now, Death Mug is a parody of various villains from 80s cartoons. You know, like Cobra Commander and Serpentor from G.I. Joe, Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You can see it in the way he looks. He's got an overblown attitude, and his ego is so huge, it's unbelievable. He wants to be a dictator of the entire universe, and he just wants to rule everything. And you can see he looks like villains from 80s cartoons as well. He's got a silver mask like Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe, you know, the leader of Cobra. And he's got gold on him like Serpentor from Cobra as well. While he's purple like the Shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. While his archenemy Buick Starpoon is basically a parody on the space of the military type hero as well as the space hero kind of character. If you see that, he's basically a G.I. Joe parody mixed with characters from Star Trek or space opera. Let's see. If you see him, he's basically a parody of Duke from G.I. Joe, as well as the space hero kind of character and stuff like that. Oh, by the way, him and his team all have military specialties like all G.I. Joe characters, so that's a parody as well. But he's also a parody of the space hero kind of character like, Buzz Lightyear or James T. Kirk from Star Trek or Buck Rogers, those kinds of characters. You can see it in his uniform, how it looks like something from a space opera, how it's white and looks like a space uniform. Anyone on his cover with a similar uniform to Buick Starpoon is part of his team in the Space Forces. Now, Buick Starpoon is basically a parody on the military kind of hero character, like from G.I. Joe, but he's got an overblown ego as well as he thinks everything he does is right and for the best for the country. So he's kind of a parody on those kinds of characters. But as I said, he's also a parody of the space hero kind of character. So basically, think of him with the giant ego and stuff like that, like Zach Brannigan from Futurama, only funnier, or maybe Buck Rogers. But either way, you're going to have a fun time when you read these characters. Now, the other members of Buick Starpoon's team, let's look over here. This guy with the mohawk over here, his name is Roadhog. His military specialty is that he's an army guy. Before he was part of the Space Forces, he was part of the army. Now he basically helps Buick Starpoon. Now let's go down here. And here on this, we see this bald guy with a gun. His name is Beach Pounder. You see him in the blue uniform here? Huh? His military specialty is that he's a Marine. Before he was a part of the Space Forces, he was a Marine. While this guy back here in the red uniform driving that vehicle, firing off his weapons, his name is Blast Tank. His military specialty is that he's a heavy vehicle specialist, otherwise known as a tanker. He drives a tank around, blows stuff up. Now, this cover is one of 3 different variant covers you'll be able to back when my Indiegogo goes live, so you have that to look forward to as well. This is the Extreme 90s cover, by the way. It looks pretty good, huh? And as I said, all my Buick Starpoon's members in his team are G.I. Joe parodies, and each of them is a military specialty, so look out for that as well. Now, let's go over here. Here we have Girl Friday. Girl Friday is another member of the Wild Rangers. That's the name of Buick Starpoon's team in the Space Forces. She was assigned to the Wild Rangers under Buick Starpoon because while the Wild Rangers fight the scumdogs and save the universe, they're just highly destructive idiots who basically can't do anything right and destroy everything they touch. Their idea of saving a town is basically blowing it up. So her superiors assigned Girl Friday to the team to basically rein them in and basically try to get them to do their jobs right. And she hates her job. She thinks her career in the military is over because she's basically babysitting idiots. She's babysitting idiots. Right? Now let's go over here and look at, well, Death Mug's henchmen. Because in all 80s cartoons, the main villain of the cartoon would have henchmen, and they'd be total idiots. The blue guy with the top hat is Murder Mouth, and the pink guy down here is Sloppy. The pink guy down here is Sloppy. There are a couple of idiots that destroy everything they touch, and they're a parody of every henchman from an 80s cartoon. You know, the kinds of characters that are just fun to laugh at because they're so idiotic. These guys are a parody of them. Murder, right there. All right, now let's look at Hair Metal Doctor. Hair Metal Doctor is a parody of Dr. Mindbender from G.I. Joe, a mad scientist. That's Dr. Mindbender from G.I. Joe. He's a parody of him. Hair Metal Doctor is a parody of him. He's basically a mad scientist who's been crossed over with a hair metal musician because I thought that'd be awesome to have as a character. He thinks of all of the stuff the scumdogs use to try and take over the world. Now let's look at Miss Breasty Melons here. Miss Breasty Melons is a parody of the Baroness from G.I. Joe. She joined up with the Scumdogs for fun. She only became a villain to do that and stuff. And you're going to read all about her in my graphic novel. By the way, hit that like button for me. It helps me fight the algorithm so more people can see my videos, as well as hit that bell and hit the part of the bell that hit the part of the bell that gives you all future notifications. And please go share this video out on Twitter and Facebook. All right, we looked at this. Now let me exit out of these. And we can move on with this video. But like that. If you guys hit that like button, not too bad there. Now, folks, I did say we were going to look at more supernatural videos tonight. But first, before we do anything else, let's go look at, well, Indiegogo real quick. A few new Indiegogos up. Edith the Cantillon War 2. War Taped, or something like that. Cantillon War. Okay, it's made 1,575. It's got 59 days left. The artwork doesn't look too bad. Let me go back this way real quick. Let me do this. Do this. All right, that's this. There's Stomp 2 comic book has made 5,749. Secret Comics, a horror comic book. Well, here's a horror comic book from Secret. It's made quite a bit of money. We also have, well, Alien Alamo, which has made 85,311. Not doing too bad. Not doing too bad. Let's see, go over this way. There's various other books that have also made some money. We can take a quick look at these before we move on. There's Shihokyo. It's made $160,230. The Earth Trembles trading cards. Oh, it's just trading cards there. Monkey help fund the Monkey Manga. We're a American manga company to produce more books in less time with you. Okay, this doesn't look too bad. It's made $29. 60 days left. We have Viking Wolf Book 1, Powerland Huria. Oh, we also have Dreamkeepers Volume 5, Assassin's Flaw, which is ended its camp. There's Titan Mouse of Might Artist Edition, Volume 1. Octopus Cowboys made 2,150. Let's see. Offworlder Issue 1, Second Chance is made 439, 27 hours left. Not doing too bad. Perfect 10 Issue 2 is made 12,986. All right, that's pretty good. Rainbow the Brute has made 434,180. Okay, that's pretty good as well. Sovereign Wolf Clandestiny has made 27,035. Dame Gang has made $7,260 over that. Creed Reimaginary has made $113,214. Fire Bitch 2 has made $61,783. And Rock and Roll Ninja graphic novel has made over $58,000. Well, Global Defense Force issue 4 has only made $104 with 11 days left. Okay. Rock and Roll Ninja graphic novels made $58,530. All right. Chaotic Flux 3 can get 1 and 2 as well. Has made $5,835. Not doing too bad. Now we looked at these for a bit. It's not doing too bad right here. Let me go this way. Now we'll go look at some supernatural stories. Let's see what kind of like yesterday. I'm just going to do a video talking about various supernatural critters and stuff like that, and having some fun. Maybe this will basically be another cryptid corner, so we'll look at those as well. So I think I'll start off by looking at various cryptid stories. The Very Strange and Hunt Perching State Forest of Connecticut. Okay, maybe I'll just look at these instead. On the road, mysterious black cars, the MIB drive. We could look at that as well. I said I would look at Stuck at Home, use these webcams to hunt for UFOs, Bigfoots, ghosts, and monsters. Okay, let's look at this story here and stuff. There might be cryptids in it. Some places in this world seem to be cursed in a sense. For whatever reason, they have served as receptacles for various weird and paranormal things, managing to lurk off in the periphery, gathering local lore over the years. There is typically no discernible reason for why these places should serve to be such magnets of the weird, but there they are, causing all manner of tales of the paranormal to gravitate towards them. Some of the spookiest They are the various dark and twisted haunt forests of the world, and one intriguing example sits out in the U.S. state of Connecticut. Sprawled over 27,000 acres of land along land and stuff. Rhode Island border of the U.S. state of Connecticut is Perching State state forest, coming from the Native American name for a bend in the river. Bend, huh? A name for it, huh? Connecticut's largest state forest, the area of Patchogue, has a long and often tumultuous past. This place was long inhabited by the native Narragansett, Mohegan, and Pequot tribes, who were steadily and forcibly, often violently pushed out by white settlers 1700s through a campaign and war, and who established a settlement along the Perching River called Voluntown. The town was initially established on an land granted to veterans of the Indian Wars, originally called Volunteer Town, but these people got a bad deal out of it. The land was found to be nearly useless for agriculture, being too stony, sandy, and hilly, and reported in the 1700s by Connecticut General Court deemed the land to be unsuitable for settlement. They seem to have gotten scammed. Nevertheless, people stayed and tried their best to eke out a living here, building mills along the river, but mostly struggling to survive. To them, it was an accursed land, which is reflected in some of the ominous and spooky place names they signed here. as Bear Hill, Mount Misery, and Stone Hill, and Hell Hollow. Mount Misery, huh? A combination of the harsh living conditions and the advent of new technology that was making the mills obsolete caused more and more people to move away until by the Great Depression, Voluntown was, well, Voluntown, largely a derelict feral place of overgrown ruins. State forest was then established on this land that no one wanted, and during the Great Depression in the 30s, it only grew due to the government buying up all of the cheap land, and it is indeed for this reason why the Per-Chung State Forest is incredibly massive. Only a very few settlers had remained on the land at this point, barely able to make ends meet, but with nowhere else to go, and it is perhaps partly due to this depressing and violent history that the forest has so many ghost tales, claims of hauntings. One of the most popular local ghost stories concerning the forest is that a young woman named Maud once lived here when there was still a Voluntown. She was apparently accused of being a witch and executed, after which it became popular for people to vandalize, defile her grave, something she doesn't seem to have liked too much. The story goes that she would appear to aggressively chase people away. The grave site, and then anyone who vandalized the grave would be cursed by the witch's ghost, with the victim either going insane or dying under unusual circumstances. This particular story is probably pure myth, and has been found by historians that the real Maud, likely just a 2-year-old girl named Maud Reynolds, who lived on a farm on Hill Hollow Road in the 1800s, died from complications due to diphtheria. Well, diphtheria. Astheria, some disease here, hypothermia. She is rather eerily buried at the top of a small rise near the farmhouse rather than in the family grave. The gravestone, which was a 5-foot tall stone cross, was in later years relentlessly stolen, perhaps by those who believed the witch's stories, and eventually the grave would be marked by a mere pile of stones. Interestingly, whether a witch or a little girl, there was plenty of stories of paranormal activity at the grave site. Nevertheless, the disembodied cries of a young girl have been reported from here, as well as numerous reports of orbs, cold spots, mists. It also seems that whatever is here does not seem to like people in the vicinity, which is called Maud's Grave to this day, and it lies near the remnants of the stone foundations of the farm. And an entity is said to be found of throwing stones at trespassers. Rather weirdly, there is apparently another grave some distance away in a part of the forest. Is apparently another grave some distance away in part of the forest, Hill Hollow. This one with a broken headstone that also rather eerily says Maud, and which is also said to be haunted. The story goes that there were 2 Mauds, one being the witch and one being the little girl, and that both graves are equally haunted. These are not the only ghosts said to be lurk around. Okay, this was a cryptid story right here, because we have this ghost girl, and that's a cryptid. Okay, we have this ghost girl. Let's hear some other stories, huh? What do you think about this, folks? Do you think this forest is haunted? Another weird place that seems to exist where people see ghosts and other supernatural things? State forest by a long shot, another ghost is said to be that of, well, a girl who was brutally murdered in the late 1600s. Ever since then, her tormented ghost has allegedly prowled the area in the forest called Hill Hollow, known for her spooky howling and shrieking in anguish. The area is now fairly remote, but there have been plenty of reports from hunters who have claimed to have heard otherworldly screams and screeches. One hunter, the name of Henry Tober, said of his experiences with the sounds. You hear these like screaming noises. You hear a lot of certain noises like that aren't typical. It gets you nervous in the woods when you hear that piercing scream come out of the woods. No one cares what anyone might think. You hear your hair stands up on the back of your neck and you are out of there. Another ghost in the forest is supposedly that of, well, that 18th century soldier from the Indian Wars of the era who patrols sections of Picnic Hill Road with a long musket his right shoulder, according to author David Treffel, who wrote the booklet. Hauntings of Petching Forest. This solitary spectral soldier has long been in the area since as far back as 1742 and always seems to follow the same pattern of marching back and forth on a specific section as if he is still doing his guard duty and doesn't even know he's dead. Motorists have frequently reported being startled by the appearance of what has come to be known as the Picnic Hill Guard. Picnic, with some of them claiming to have driven right through him. Even Tefferlo himself has seen the ghost while driving through, slamming on his brakes to avoid an impact only to see him vanish into thin air. He has said of this spook encounter, "I could not bring myself to tell anyone about it. What I had seen for many weeks, I thought everyone would think I was crazy or something, but he's there as sure as the sun rises in the morning." That guard is still doing his job at that bend, Bricknail Hill Road. Yet another entity is a dark, misty black shape that has the uncertainly habit of following hikers around, often appearing as a mist around 15 feet long, which will move about on its own according to cord and come up rushing at people only to vanish. Even the long abandoned ruins of the house scattered about here seem to hold some spiritual essence to them. One account of only in your state gives a look into which such weirdness with a witness who went there with his friends Chris and Prison and a group of others to investigate one of the old ruins. It says, armed with coffee and brownies, we eventually vanderized with the group. Basically came with a group in front of an Equinox cemetery and walked down the street along Little Then down a path leading to ruins of rocks where a house had been. But before that girl sensed something off to the side and driven headed that way, and I followed only a short way in. She felt the unpleasantness and turned it over to me. I felt that a teenage girl had been chased, caught, raped, and killed here. Couldn't identify with the attack, but felt empathy for her enough that she was able to move on, seeking further healing up there. The house had some residual energies, unpleasant, mostly pleasant energies. Pleasant one energy I couldn't identify in Brazil. I helped naming, wanting me to hide wanting to hide away, a feeling somewhat close to me now named. I was able to possess it until gone. The cemetery next to the guy's, well, I was able to basically get it or something. The cemetery next, the guys directed me to the far left corner, so I started there. Some residual energies. Sorry if I can't read this right. This guy didn't really spell what he meant so well with what he was saying there. Sorry if I couldn't understand it. Directed me the cemetery. At the cemetery, they directed me to the far left corner, so I started there. Some energies, no ghosts, cleared that. There was a lot going on there, so I was soon hitting the brownies, seeking energy for myself. On top of that, I could pull down from above. I could pull down from above, nothing special, just ghosts and energy. Another girl found some snake skins, which she gave to her daughter. I was a little fascinated. Didn't hear the guys calling me. They were in the right front corner, standing either side of something. Goosebumps on Missy's husband's right arm. Chris reporting sensations on his left arm. I took one step in and stopped, smiled, stepped out, and told them felt like an elevator. It had been activated by all the ghost work. People talk about going into the light. Well, there are lights all over the place left on for ghosts who lack the energy to rise up all the way. All they have to do is enter the lit up area and it pulls them up there. So I stepped back just for fun. Plenty of energy there, fueled from above. What is going on with this place? Why should I attract to it? Why should it attract to it? Maybe. A large amount of baffling, strange phenomena. Hope you understood that, folks. I might have kind of read it. Hope you understood what I just said, folks. What is with all this baffling, strange phenomena? It could be the vicious and turbulent past, perhaps mixed with something about the land itself, or it could just be urban legends sprouting up around an deniable place. But it is hard to say. All that can be said for sure is that Punching is the state forest and its ruins from another time have reportedly been magnets for the weird and unexplained, and it continues to lurk out there. Well, very interesting, huh, folks? What do you think about that? Feel free to hit the like button. as we look at some more weird stories. Look at the mysterious black cars of the MIB drive. There's another white-tailed eagle seen for the first time locking over a century. There's another odd thing as well. Look at that. Feel free to hit that like button, will you, folks? It really helps me fight the algorithm, as well as please go share this video out on social media. In fact, maybe I should share this out a bit. Let's cut. Now I'll go to over here. Let me see. Basically, see if I can get a few people to come here. Maybe just do this. I'm trying to see if I can get any more people to come on here and watch this. Comicsgate. Put the link up. Do that and tweet out. All right, we got that there. Let me go over here. Do that. Do that. Unpin from profile. Unpin and get this up here. Pin. There. Now go back over here. I just wanted to see if I can get a few more people to watch this video and stuff like that. Doing pretty good tonight, though. But let's go watch some more, read some more articles. We met a leprechaun at South Lake, Texas Costco. Here's this story. A couple shopping at at a Costco when they encountered what they describe, a leprechaun. The parking lot, huh? There is a brief conversation which the leprechaun personally knows this couple. The following account. Please note that I am being completely sincere and my wife can vouch for this encounter. I know that Faye and their elk are considered little more than a, myth. Yeah. But I tell you the true, I swear it. I met an actual leprechaun and I've been encountering Faye all my life, and I have a theory as to why there was a leprechaun in South Lake, Texas. My wife and I were looking for a desk at Costco one rainy night, and we found one we were looking for. I was carrying it out to the car. Desk. We were looking for a desk at Costco. I was carrying it out to our car in the rain when we were aggressively confronted by a tiny Irishman, red hair, green eyes, freckles, brogue, 3 feet in height. About 3 feet in height. His proportions were normal and proportional to said height from what I could see. He wasn't a dwarf, a little person, squat, small limbs. He was just really small. He wasn't wearing anything special either, just a t-shirt and jogging pants with sneakers, not green either, but his hair was as red as mine. He called me by name, and we knew my wife's name as well. As soon as we looked up to address him, he started talking to us about absolutely nothing in particular, as if he knew us and hadn't seen us in ages. I was so shocked I simply answered his questions and listened to him react, given as if he knew us from way back. How have you been? What's up? Did you still live around here? I said we still lived at my old house. He replied, good old home, sweet home. How's the family? I said, my grandmother's well, and I don't talk to my mother often. He replied, well, it's fine that you keep an eye on your grand. She's danger prone. How's the writing going? I said, writer's block. He replied, as always, keeping trying. Any kids? I said, no, we're waiting till we have a place of our own. He replied, a wise decision, young man. He looks up at my wife. This one's a keeper. Ooh. All right. All his responses were super jovial and friendly. I barely noticed it, but I had my own umbrella over his head subconsciously. I had put my umbrella over his head, and I was now getting soaked. The entire time I was wondering if we were the victim of some sort of prank or if he recognized me from some time before, but me being an idiot had forgotten. And finally, the question had friendly conversation stopped and gave us both a mischievous smile, complete with eyebrow waggles, and said, 2 cents, your 2 cents. He then handed us each 2 new shiny pennies. Then he turned and walked to the Costco. We were both so flabbergasted that we didn't speak the entire time home. When we finally got there, I looked at my pennies that my wife, did we just meet a leprechaun? And it fits with all the Fae lore. I know a complete stranger approaches you as if he knows you and waits for you to be rude. So he can, a Fae can curse you. It's a good thing you weren't. So he can curse you. If you surprise him and are polite, he'll give you a small or large reward. Yeah, gotta be sure not to basically piss people off, especially if they're fey. Very interesting. That note, we put pennies in a keepsake box. We're gone by the morning. Literally, it's like they've been taken. There was no other money in that box. Nobody else had access to it. That's what made my wife believe the idea that it may have been a leprechaun. As to why my theory of why a leprechaun would be in Texas, well, it's fairly simple. Humans can immigrate, go on vacation. Yeah, if humans can do it. If humans can immigrate, go on vacation, then why can't the Fae? Most of them pass for human anyway, so it's not that difficult to see one boarding a plane in Europe, where they are still a protected species under law, and coming to America to mess with some rude Americans. Tell me what your thoughts are. If it wasn't anything like that. Well, that was an interesting little story right there. Okay, another little story like that. Let's go look at some other weird stories. What possibly could examine. Do I believe that story was real, folks? It could be. As I said, you can't disprove it and stuff like that. Then again, we don't know if this guy's telling the truth or not. But we have to basically, while we're in this video, while we're talking about this stuff, we have to say that he is telling the truth and believe it, because it makes things so much more fun. By the way, folks, hit that like button for me. It really helps me fight the algorithm, and basically more people see my videos, as well as please go share this video out on social media. Let's see, maybe I should go look up some more weird stories. Let me do that. On the road, look at the mysterious black cars, MIB Drive. Should I look at that? Maybe I'll go over here. Let's go look at some cryptids. See if we can't find anything else to look here. Looking for Bigfoot and other cryptids map might help you. Loch Ness, the storming for aliens and cryptids continues. Let me try something else. Cryptids, weird. I'm going to see if I can't bring something up here to look at. Very weird with creatures from beyond the strange. Let's take a look at this. All right, here we go. Let's get into this little thing. By the way, folks, hit that like button for me. It really helps me fight the algorithm, so more people can see my videos, as well as please hit that bell and hit the part of the bell that gives you all future notifications for my videos. And please go share this video on Twitter and Facebook. Within the world of cryptozoology and the paranormal, there are very often strange accounts of creatures and entities that cannot be easily explained. They tease us and basically ask us basically plague us with their otherworldliness, unable to be rationalized, doomed to wander the domain of speculation, mystery, and myth. Yet even among this world of the weird, there are particular cases that stand out as even more bizarre, swirling about in some shady universe that lays out beyond the anomalies and oddness that we know of. Such cases truly stand out as baffling, describing creatures that seem to have no business being in this reality at all, often were spotted only once before disappearing forever, and which seem to defy all attempts to classify. Such cases are the creme de la creme of the world, and here are some of the weirdest. This might be an article I've already read before, so cryptozoology news, huh? Our first oddity comes from the Madison County, Illinois, city of St. Jacob, where a witness claims to have encountered what can only be described as some sort of gigantic insect. The anonymous witness said on Cryptozoology News that he had been driving along a highway at around 3 a.m. when something out of this world lumbered into the ambience of his headlights. The terrified witness said that he had pumped his brakes at the sight of it and described it as being a 7-foot-tall stick insect. He described it as follows. If this is something we've read before, I might have to change to a different article. Object appeared in my headlights. On the right side, car crossing the highway, looking like a giant walking stick with 4 legs. Its head turned as it ran and looked at me just before going out of lighted view. It was red wood and moved in approximately 1 second, if less, across the whole lighted area of my headlights. When it turned to me, it had no face. Yeah, I don't think I've seen it. Here's a picture, huh? Was this an insect or something else? If it was some sort of insect, how could it possibly be so enormous? Drivers seem to come across a lot of weirdness while traversing nighttime roads. In another case, a man from Missouri claims that, from Jefferson City, Missouri, claims that a man from Jefferson City, Missouri, claims that in 2012 he had been driving from Colorado to South Dakota when he came across something rather odd in the vicinity of Lusk. As the night flickered by, a creature described as being a cross between a rabbit and a dog with wavy white fur and measuring around 4 feet long dashed in front of him, the witness says. I was going from Colorado Springs to Rapid City, but it was about 1 a.m. when I came over a small hill at Highway 85 just north of Lusk, Wyoming. As I came over the hill, I saw a creature in my headlights that looked like an oversized white rabbit. As I came over the hill at high speed, Lusk, huh? As I came over the hill, I saw a creature in my headlights that looked like an oversized white rabbit. As I came over the hill at high speed, it was right in front of me in the road. I swerved right and I hopped left, but I still clipped it, slammed on the brakes and reversed to look for it, but did not see it anywhere. It looked like a dog-rabbit cross, although its face was more canine than rabbit looking. It had a very big dark eyes and big ears. It hopped like a rabbit with its huge hind feet, but much slower. In the world was this thing? Continuing road oddities is another case reported in Cryptozoology News by a taxi cab dispatcher named named Edgar, who was on the evening June 3rd, 18. Says one of his drivers had been driving a passenger home and had his bizarre encounter as he had been driving through Elizabeth, Tennessee. He says that this driver had not seen the creature, but that the passenger had witnessed a kangaroo-like beast running along on its hind legs, and the report says of the incident. The female passenger in his cab asked about passing the spot where the car had swerved and my driver had seen it. When he told her he had not, she described the creature as something about 2 feet tall. It was going at a high rate of speed across the road and only on its hind legs, and had the overall body shape of a kangaroo. She said the creature was running towards the woods. To the best of my knowledge and research, this is the first sighting of anything like this in or around this area of Tennessee. There have been, however, other sightings of other cryptids, ranging from the Birdman of Hampton to the Tennessee Wildman, and even several possible Sasquatch sightings, including a possible winged Bigfoot encounter. A weird report from the Mutual UFO Network was given by a rather reliable witness, in this case a police officer. In the small town of Mercenville, New Jersey, the identified officer claimed that he had been off duty and sitting on his back porch when he looked at the sky and saw quite a bizarre sight in this form of a dark gray snake-like creature flying through the air on 2 sets of wings. Regular one and another set of smaller wings at the end of its a regular one and another set of smaller wings at the end of its body. And he also mentioned that it had no discernible head. The witness says, very strange snake bird. Very strange, huh? I couldn't see the beak either. It didn't have legs or feet. It was about 10 feet long and thin, like a snake. Its wings were very thin and long, and it moved like an eel or snake. It moved through the air like a sea creature would move through the water. I am familiar with anything that moves, that we know of in our natural habitat. This was not only natural. This was not any natural earthly flying creature. So what was the thing? And then an alien, an cryptid, or an interdimensional interloper, just a tall tale. Considering no other signs of the unusual creature were reported, we will probably never know. Just about as completely outlandish and utterly surreal as anything we have looked up here so far. And a bunch of reports given to Cryptozoology News involving humanoid entities described as being able to cloak themselves like the Predator from the popular science fiction film franchise. It's a, yeah, there's another. It's a strange, it's, yeah, it's strange. Let's take a look. Hmm. All right. So what do you think these people are saying, huh? Very weird things right here, huh? We have another odd report of various creatures, including flying creatures, flying Bigfoot for God's sakes. Did they actually see a Bigfoot, or did this creature, for whatever reason, just was this actually a disguise the creature was actually wearing when it was flying through the air? If people are seeing flying Bigfoot or other flying creatures, maybe they're disguises and they're making people see these things. There's actually a creature there and all that, but it's actually using some sort of either technology or magic to make people see something else. Maybe it's a flying man, and his cloak was basically looked like a flying monster. The first report came from a woman who says that her and her husband moved to a new home in an area of western Pennsylvania. 2000, after getting to know the area one evening, they went out with a spotlight to view deer in the wilderness, taking a series of bumpy, isolated dirt roads past farms and rural countrysides. The only light that which they cast out from their spotlight as the light stabbed out of the night. The beam captured something within it, although it was not the deer we were expecting to find. The witnesses of what they saw. As I stared at this shape, I realized I did not know what I was looking at. It wasn't a deer. It wasn't any animal at all. As my brain tried to comprehend what I was looking at, it became more clear the longer I stared. What I saw had the shape of a man, but was not a man. It was not see-through as a ghost. The only way I can describe it was that it was like standing water, but it didn't cast a shadow. It didn't have any glare to it as the light was on it. It did not reflect the light. It was not gas, or as gas does, had not have a significant shape. Gas will ebb and flow with the breeze, or at least have an inconsistent shape. Whether what I saw had a defined shape, that was the only way I can see it, because it had the shape of a human, and I could make that out because of the defined, well, curves and edges, well, and ridges of his body. Only because of its outline was I able to, well, yeah. Only because of its outline was I able to make out what I was looking at. When I realized that I was looking at a human shape, I noticed the posture was similar to a person sulking or sneaking. It was hunched over a little, and one of its arms was frozen in place in front of it, as though it knew we saw it, and froze in position to try to be undetectable. For moments that we have seemed like an eternity for the frightened woman, the thing remained motionless, as if it were studying them, before creeping off down a knoll, and then it just sort of vanished in thin air. She did not know if the creature had been seen by her husband, and the entire encounter had lasted only a few seconds. It was enough to send the woman into a state of panic. She rarely told her husband about what she had seen, thinking he might have make fun of her, but was shocked when he breathlessly told her that he had witnessed the exact same thing the witness says. He saw that it was a shape of a man. He saw that it was hunched over as if caught red-handed. He saw that it was cloaked like the predator, but it didn't have a jagged camouflage look. The thing we saw had a smooth look. It was like standing water without the reflective aspect, and its outside shape was smooth, definitive. I do not know what we saw, but I do know it was real. I have been really guarded about this experience, and have only been told a few people because I knew how skeptics are. I am one of them, yet I cannot refute what we saw was real. Nevertheless, whatever it was, we saw it. There is no doubt in my mind, well, or my others. Oh, no doubt in me and my others' mind about it. Yes, it was dark, but the spotlight was exceptional. But the light was exceptional. Huh? With its quality, there was no mistaking what we saw being confused with any shadows, strange lights, reflections, optical illusions, gas leaks, ghosts, any other possible thing. The cloaking capabilities were of absolute exceptional clarity. It bent the light in such a way that it looked like the surrounding environment without any flaws, save for the outline of the man humanoid thing. Aside from the distinctive outline, we would not have been able to detect that anything was there at all. Now, if light affects the cloak in the daylight, then more people will have more sightings. However, I have a sneaking suspicion that our spotlight deflected the cloaking mechanism in such a way that we were able to detect the outline because of it. What was that what was going on here? Was this entity using some kind of cloaking device? If it were just an isolated incident, one could almost think that their minds had been playing tricks on them. But unbelievably, there was another report that came in that seems to describe something remarkably similar in the account. A man in Tuplet, Washington, 47-year-old Gerald, came forward to say that he was, Gerald here, Gerald came forward to say that he was on many occasions spotted invisible humanoids lurking about on his property that can only be faintly seen in a spotlight is shown on them, or if the angle is just right, he says of one of them such a sighting. They are in my backyard sometimes. I watch for them for hours. I think they know I am watching them, and they mess with me. At night, they have a human shape. At first, I thought they were people in camouflage. Is it really predator-looking? Military style. It's been 3 months now. One day I counted over 30 of them. If invisibility cloaked humanoids aren't strange enough for you, then how about a sighting of a winged humanoid described as looking like an angel? This is what an anonymous witness, looking like an angel, what an anonymous witness who identifies himself as a firefighter or paramedic says that he saw near his home in Sydney, Ohio in July of 1990. The witness claims that he was walking home when he saw the humanoid entity, which was around 8 to 9 feet tall, had an impressive wingspan. That witness describes what happened. I was walking home facing north in a residential street, approximately 1 block from my house. It was a very hot afternoon and winds were picking up. I could see my house in the distance. The sky had turned a very dark due to a pretty significant thunderstorm. The sky was very dark in the northern part of the sky, and the blue sky and clouds behind me. It was approximately 1500 hours as the winds were picking up. Something white against the dark sky caught my attention. At first, I thought it was a large piece of white paper or sheet. Then I noticed it was like flapping its wings. All right, not bad. So what do you think these guys saw? All right. Approximately. Then I noticed it was like flapping. It flew from my right to left, approximately 400 feet up, and maybe 120 yards from me at about 25 degrees from my perspective. It was large and very white. It looked humanoid, taller and muscular. My brain couldn't reference anything other than what an angel would look like. It had a huge wingspan and flapped just like a bird's wings would. Couldn't make out smaller details like hair or facial features, but it had a head, 2 arms, 2 legs, and 2 wings. It was flying from east to west, but not with the wind. Leaves and grass were blowing in my direction. As with the other reports we have looked at, and here we are left without a clear idea of what this being could have possibly been. What are any of these creatures, huh? I think I'll leave this article here. It's just ending right there. What are these weird creatures people are seeing, huh? This guy says he saw an angel or something like it. Other people have seen other weird things. There's that as well. Cryptids, where are the bodies? Yeah, you might look at this article. But what could it actually have been, huh, folks? Very weird stuff. People see all these weird things, sometimes only once. But then again, people see angels all the time, at least a lot of it. But this guy only saw it once, and no one else has seen this angel before either. But why did they see it? Did they see it because maybe there's something wrong with its ability to cloak itself? Well, the same thing with the people who were basically with the invisible humanoids. Or maybe something they were allowing themselves to be seen for some odd reason. Could be for a variety of things. Or maybe a variety of stuff. Let's go look at this article. At some of the readers, the mysterious universe may be aware, aside from UFOs, other big interest when it comes to the world of the unexplained. Cryptozoology, the study and research for unknown animals such as Bigfoot, lake monsters, chupacabra, and the abominable snowman. As readers may also know, my views on such creatures are hardly mainstream. Right. Well, many indeed, probably most cryptozoologists, monster hunters are content to conclude that such beasts are those referred to above are flesh and blood animals of a distinctly down to earth but presently unidentified nature. I'm far from certain that that's the case. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's not the case, or at the very least, they are not flesh and blood in the way we understand the term. And one of the things that continues to push me down this particular paranormal pathway comes, well, it comes to certain cryptids is the absolute lack of a body or bodies to support the notion that many and varied monsters and weird beasts are in our world nothing more than animals. Now I know full well that the bulk of mysterious beasts that people such as me pursue are purred from locales that are remote, hard to navigate, or pretty hostile, which I will be the first to admit makes me immensely difficult when it comes to securing hard evidence in the form of a corpse, even more so as a result of the fact that most of us simply don't have the money to embark on extensive expeditions for weeks at a time. Thus, people suggest that given the above, and it's not at all unusual, we should never have stumbled upon the corpse of a legendary unknown creature like Bigfoot. Okay, maybe the chances of finding a Bigfoot corpse are scant. Yeah, but they have they ever found one? Bigfoot, Sasquatch, the wild man of the woods, call it what you will, has been reported centuries, and from particularly every U.S. state, there are certainly thousands of reports on record. And who knows how many more sightings have gone unreported for fear of ridicule or being labeled a liar or mentally deranged. These nationwide reports spanning such a lengthy period certainly imply that the Bigfoot population, if they are flesh and blood, has to be pretty large. With that said, why aren't we finding hard evidence of their what there is that Bigfoot is not the dumb brute it appears to be, but that mentally it may very well be a highly developed entity and one that understands the nature of death. The result when a Bigfoot dies, its family, friends, or comrades bury the corpse as much as we do. Outcome, we never find a body. Fair enough. Given that we know about the way in which elephants mourn their dead, I don't dispute that as a possibility. However, we know that elephants comprehend at least something about what death means because we have been able to study them. And we have very valuable film footage of elephants clearly reacting in an emotional fashion to the discovery of elephant corpse and bones. But that's my point. If we have been able to secure such data from studying elephants, then why is fully confirming the death-related rituals of Bigfoot always impossible? Similarly, why has Bigfoot never been hit by a car, killed, recovered, and presented to the world's media? Is it really feasible to imagine that not even one such accident where the evidence could be seen by one and all would occur ever? It's much the same with the lake monsters. Yeah, of course, I'm aware they live in the water and are therefore likely to die in the water and as a result sink to the bottom of the huge murky lake they call home. But what of the chances of never coming across the body of such a creature during, for example, a driving expedition in a lake said to be swimming with monsters? I know that people rightfully point out that when something dies, nature takes care of it very quickly, and the dead body quickly becomes food for whatever else calls the particular local cow their home. But water-based animals die in the lakes and oceans all the time. That is not, however, stopped us from identifying their type. Why are lake monsters, sea serpents, the exception? Then there are Britain's alien big cats, as they have become known for decades and possibly even centuries. Reports have surfaced of large exotic predatory cats prowling the countryside. Of course, it scarcely needs mentioning that the British Isles are not or should not be home to any such creatures. That does not, however, prevent people from seeing them. And while a couple living dead specimens have been found, such as a lynx and puma, those few cases have always seemed to be explainable as escaped pets and such like. However, there are a number of reports of far weirder big cats, very often black in color, having been killed on country roads only for the bodies to conveniently vanish. Yeah, there's that too. Could be that they're trying to get rid of it, or maybe these creatures are something like shapeshifters, and other shapeshifters are hiding the bodies, or maybe the government's hiding them. Or when I say shapeshifter, it could be magic, or maybe something alien. These creatures might not be cats at all, but maybe just aliens who are basically using a cloaking technology to hide themselves as cats. And that's a good idea. Yes, a big cat, people would see that, but then again, other people would say that it was impossible, so that might be a good camouflage. Let's see. After being quickly recovered by mysterious government officials who seem to display distinct Men in Black style characteristics, there's no doubt that our world is indeed populated by veritable menagerie of unknown beasts, and that's not the what that. And it's not that they are elusive that bothers me. It's what bothers me is that for flesh and blood animals, they are simply too elusive. Yeah, there's that too. That's very weird, huh? Okay, we came to that end of that article. That was fun, huh? That was fun. What we've been talking about tonight, folks. What do you think about all that? What do you think that actually happened there? I mean, did people actually see these creatures? And why is it so hard to find any of these creatures at all? And any evidence? I mean, are these creatures all related to each other? Is that why this phenomenon is why we can never get any concrete evidence? Because we're looking for more than one type of creature. Maybe the giant cats do exist because these giant black cats have been seen on UFOs. Maybe magical creatures like fairies and alien and have conversations with creatures from outer space on the spaceships and basically live their lives like that. It could be as well. But there could be a variety of other reasons too to consider. But what do you think, folks? Leave some comments down below because I love to hear about your ideas about that, and because I want to hear about your ideas about this stuff. As well, folks, please go and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Read comics, they're bad for you, okay? The there is misspelled. Make sure you're still subscribed and hit that like button. It helps me fight the algorithm so more people can see my videos. As well as please hit that bell and hit the part of the bell that gives you all future notifications for my videos. Let's see. Also, please go share this video out on Twitter, Facebook, and Gab. Let's see. Anything else? Please go and subscribe to Stitch Together Pics. Stitch Together Pics is a YouTube channel that has a great host on it. You're going to love his reviews of movies. They are great. He plays a character with multiple personality disorder that's fun to watch. He not only plays one character, he plays a whole host of characters that are just fun. That's Stitched Together Pics. Go and subscribe to Stitched Together Pics. All right. Also, please go and subscribe to Creepy Little Book. Creepy Little Book is like the Art Bell radio show. He does live streams every night. But he also does little videos talking about high strangeness. He puts a lot of information in these videos, so go and check them out. But he also live streams every night. On weekdays, he live streams at 12:30 a.m., and on weekends, he live streams at 10 o'clock p.m. He talks about aliens and ghosts, and you learn so much from watching these live streams. They're just such fun to watch. Now, what else is there to say? Yeah, please go over to rumble.com and subscribe to my Rumble channel. The name of my Rumble channel is Comic Freak. As well as go over to BitChute and subscribe to my BitChute channel. The name of my BitChute channel is also Comic Freak. Remember, folks, I'll be back again tomorrow around 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, 8 o'clock or 11 o'clock for another live stream, so be sure to come back again then. Yeah, be sure to come back again then, folks. We'll have even more fun, and I'll talk to you about more supernatural creatures, as well as please look out for my own upcoming graphic novel, Scumdogs. It'll be out on Indiegogo. Yeah, it'll be out on Indiegogo. I'm still making the book, but just be ready for when it's out there, okay? As well as please go and check out all the Comicsgate books on Indiegogo. There are some great books out there. Check out various books there that are on there, and you'll just have a fun time when you buy them and read them. You'll just enjoy yourself. Books like such books that are out there, they're just good to read, and you really help people make good content and fight back against such things as woke content, like what the Disney has done to Star Wars and stuff. So make sure to go and help these guys because they're out there fighting the good fight. As well as go and subscribe to Creepy Little Book. In his own way, he's also fighting the good fight for freedom of speech. Yeah, there's that. Now, anything else? We looked at a lot of videos tonight, and they were great, huh, folks? We looked at, we read a lot of different stories about supernatural creatures and had a lot of fun tonight. So there's that. Well, tomorrow I'll do even another video. Maybe I'll even ask a few people to come on to have some more fun. So feel free to leave me a few comments down below talking about such things. Now, we're coming to the end of this live stream, and it's a lot of fun, and yeah, it was just great, huh? We learned about a lot tonight. But what do you think, folks? What do you think? I want to hear from you people. Now, folks, so feel free to tell me all you know about this, as well as go basically send me an information you have as well. Send me videos and stuff. I would love to have my own. I would love to basically show off people's own videos of their own personal experiences. Now, folks, I'll be back again. Now, folks, I'm Chris Williams, and welcome. And well, I'm Chris Williams from the Scumdogs Kennel. Thank you all for joining me. There, I got it right. I'll see you all again soon. Well, or I'll see you all again.